been a little bit since I made an instructional video, so I thought I'd make another YouTube. Just went out to the garden. You can tell I'm in garden clothes. Hope you don't mind. I'm going to make KKAKDUGI. It's a Korean pickled radish. This is the radish. This is a daikon. I need about 4 pounds of daikon. I need salt, ginger, pepper flakes. These I dehydrated, dried out of the garden. It's a mix, and it's got some hot stuff in it. Some fish sauce. I'm going to use anchovy sauce. You could use prepared ginger instead of the fresh, and you can use fresh garlic or prepared garlic. I'm going to take the easy route, partly because I don't have any fresh garlic in the house. And then it's going to take green onions. Just harvested these from the garden. So what I'm trying to do is put to use some of the fall garden before the freezes kill everything off. Anyhow, let's get started. First thing you gotta do after bringing your daikon in from the garden is to wash it off, get most of the dirt off, and then you use peeler and peel it. I'll save these peels and throw them out to my rabbits. Give them a treat. They don't have any green in there where I'm keeping them down in the cement pond right now. Now that I've got the daikons peeled down, I need to cut them up into cubes. I prefer a pretty big bladed knife to do that. This one you see has a split, and I'll take care of that when I get it cut down into rounds. And so what I do is cut it into rounds that I can then cut up and dice into chunks, because I want a fairly good sized chunk, maybe an inch. I'm hoping to get some crunch when I ferment these so that they retain their texture. And just cut it up like that. Toss the one that's got the little split on it, and it gives me a number of these. Now I've just got to do all the rest of these. The recipe that I found on YouTube called for 4 green onions mixed with 4 pounds of daikon, and we'll go ahead and put 5 in there just because I got plenty and I like them. So we're going to dice those up, not getting crazy about uniformity. I think as much as anything it's a visual thing to get a little different color and different texture in there. The important part here is to kind of sweat them to get some of the liquid to drain out of them. So I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of pink sea salt. That's what I got. Just a little bit more because I like it, and because I think I've got a little bit more than 4 pounds of radish there. And now, 2 tablespoons of sugar. It's just regular granulated sugar. It's going to help counterbalance the pepper when I add the pepper in. Now we toss this around, get it mixed up real good, and that salt will draw the moisture through osmosis out the cell walls of the daikon. And I'll end up with a lot of liquid here in the bottom of the bowl, which I'll drain off. High in vitamins, high in nutrients, kind of salty, kind of sweet. We'll use some of that back into the recipe, but we'll drain it all off so that we get an accurate measurement. There's the radishes we did a while ago, and we put them into with salt to try to pull the water out of them. And Every 10 minutes or so, I've been coming and flipping them over, and they've been about 3 minutes, actually more like an hour, because I got distracted. But I'm going to drain the liquid off. And we'll save that because we're going to use it. And while I was doing that, I went ahead and prepared a second batch, because I'm going to do a double, but I didn't want to make y'all sit through all that. Now we've got our radishes that have been treated with salt and sugar, and we're going to go ahead and add our seasonings to that now. I want to use about 2 tablespoons of garlic. Again, you can do fresh garlic, that'd be about 5 or 6 cloves. Tablespoons of garlic. And we'll use a tablespoon of prepared ginger. I've got ginger, but I got other things to do today, and I'm not going to stand around and chop it up. And 1 cup of fish sauce. I'm using anchovy sauce. There's an Oriental grocery over in Mount Home, Arkansas. I like to go in there and find stuff, and this is one of the things that I found. Kind of like soy sauce, a little fishy, very salty. And 2/3 of a cup of pepper flakes. Got a 1/3 cup measure. This stuff might be terrible hot. So I'm going to try 1 batch of you know, 1/3 of a cup might be enough. These have, these are from my garden, and they got some really hot things in there. We're going to stop with that. Then we'll go back with 1/3 of a cup of this reserve juice, just so that it mixes well. I think in the beginning, when I was telling you the ingredients, that I left out sugar. But that's it. That's all we got. Now we'll mix that up. Gloves ain't a bad idea. All right, that's seasoned enough. I tried it. It's pretty darn seasoned. I'm going to stop right there. Also found out I had a cut on my hand that I didn't know about, so I will wear gloves in the next stage. I'm going to put this in these wide-mouthed glass jars and pack it down tight. And then I'm going to use this weight, which just slips down in there. That's a follower to make sure the fermenting food stays below the liquid level. And then these right here stretch over the top, and they're self-burping. So they'll let the gas escape without letting air and harmful yeast and stuff back in. So we got that. Got me some nitrile gloves. Keep those over in my meat processing room. I'm doing a lot of cutting up. Hands are just a little bit on the big side. But eventually we get there. All right, so we'll pack this in, and the thing with it is you got to pack it down tight. So once we get it in there, I'm going to squish it down as much as I can with my hand. And then we're going to let it sit at room temperature and ferment. See how I'm getting that packed in there. Got a pretty red color. Wasn't sure how much it'd make, but it looks like it's going to make more than 3 jars worth. You can eat this fresh, but I like fermented. Gives it a sour pickle taste. I'll add that liquid back in once I get it compressed where I want it. So I'm going to add some liquid back on the top. Put my weight on there. Need to wipe it off. And then we'll stretch this thing on top to act as a gas seal. Looks pretty good. Actually, it looks delicious. This is Buddy at the Old School Farm in Bruno, Arkansas. Come visit, we'll share a meal sometime.